Hello everybody, in this lesson I will do something we call graph interpretation. In other words, we will do the example below with the focus on the exponential function. Question 1. The graph of g of x is equal to negative 2 to the x plus 8 is sketched below. A and B are the y and x intercepts respectively of g. Question 1. Write down the range of g. Now can you remember I said we always read the range from the y-axis and we read from the bottom upwards up to the horizontal asymptote. So now when you go to the sketch, they did not give us the value there of the horizontal asymptote, but it is hidden there inside the equation. So since there's a plus 8, we know its q's value, so we know the horizontal asymptote is there at the line y is equal to 8. Therefore, when we read off the range, we can see that it's y is an element coming from minus infinity up to 8 and don't include 8 or minus infinity. Question 2. Determine the coordinates of B. Now what is happening at B? B is the x-intercept of our graph and there's a rule, x-intercept make y 0. So there's the equation, and when we make y 0, we end with, there's a step missing, 0 equals negative 2 to the x plus 8, and then the 8, I let the 2 to the x walk across to make it positive, and then you end with 2 to the x is equal to 8, and then 8 is the same as 2 to the 3 in prime factors, and then since bases are the same, therefore we can equate exponents, and x is equal to 3. Therefore, B's coordinate is the point 3, 0. Question 3. If G is reflected over the x-axis to form a new graph H, determine the equation of H. Now what we have is g of x is equal to negative 2 to the x plus 8. So when we reflect our graph about the x-axis, then suddenly the minus 2 to the x will become plus 2 to the x, and the horizontal asymptote that used to be at plus 8 will now be at negative 8. Therefore, the new equation is h of x is equal to 2 to the x minus 8. Number 4 says, explain why the x-intercepts of G and H are both at B. And your reason would be the x-intercept make y equal to 0. And then there's your new graph. H of x is equal to 2 to the x minus 8. So let's work out what the x-intercept is. There's h of x is 0 equals 2 to the x minus 8. Minus 8 walks across. 8 is 2 to the x. 2 to the 3 is 2 to the x. Therefore, x is equal to 3. So it's very clear that the x-intercept is also 3, 0. Therefore, it's the same point as G's x-intercept. Before we continue, have you subscribed yet? Or you can like this video, and better yet, please tell your friends about my channel. Let's continue. Question 2. The function p of x is equal to k to the x plus q is described by the following properties. First of all, k is greater than 0, that means positive, and k is not equal to 1. The next thing, x-intercept at the point 2, 0, And then lastly, the horizontal asymptote is y is equal to -9. Question 1. Write down the range of P. Now, it's very clear that this graph, since k is greater than 0 and positive, that means it's an ascending graph, and the horizontal asymptote is -9. So remember, the horizontal asymptote, that is the place that's very important for your range. So this graph will start just after -9 upwards, and you write that in maths as y is greater than -9, and don't include -9 since that's where the asymptote is. Question 2. Determine the equation of P. Now, we know how to do that. We start with P of x is equal to k to the x plus q. And we know q is the horizontal asymptote, so in this case it's -9. Then we need to find a value for k, and this is why they gave us this one other point, although it's the x-intercept, as long as the point lives on the graph. So then there's the point 2, 0, x is 2, y is 0. So then we substitute in y's place 0 equals k, in x's place 2 minus 9, and then we can solve k. 9 is k squared, and then 3 squared is k squared. Divide away the 2 or take the square root, and we end with k is equal to 3. And then they told us that k is positive, so therefore the equation will be p of x is 3 to the x minus 9. Question 2.3 wants us to sketch the graph of P. Clearly indicate the intercepts with the axes and the asymptote. Now, can you see how important it is for you to be able to work out the equation in the previous question, because now you need that equation in order to sketch the graph. So we will start with this, the equation that we calculated in the previous slide, and now we can say the x-intercept was given at the point 2, 0. And then for the y-intercept, we make x 0. So we will calculate that point. Therefore, p of x is 3 to the x minus 9. And then in the place of p of x, I wrote y. Now, y-intercept make x 0. So I'm going to make x 0. And I end with y is 3 to the 0 minus 9. Anything to the 0 is 1. So I end with y is 1 minus 9, which is -8. So the y-intercept is at -8. So there's your graph, and there's a few important points. Let's have a look. The x-intercept was given, it's the point 2, 0, and then you calculated your y-intercept is this point, 0, -8. And then you can also say this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, and you can put your little arrows there, and you can say this is p of x. But there's something very important that's missing here, and this is the asymptote. So you let your asymptote be there. Remember, the asymptote is a dotted line, and then on top of your asymptote, I need the equation. And the equation of the asymptote, y is equal to -9. In the next video, I will discuss a typical examination question on the exponential function. Click on the video in the left-hand corner to take you straight to the next lesson.